So you and your family are ready to leave the UK, but you've looked at your bank account and you've thought, I can't do this yet. I don't have enough savings. Maybe it'll be next year or maybe one day in the future. And I want to show you why that kind of thinking is keeping you exactly where you are. Because maybe you've got some savings, but you have no idea if it's enough. Or maybe the financial side of this feels so overwhelming, you just can't really think about it. I genuinely believe the problem isn't money. The problem is that most families overestimate what leaving the UK actually costs because they're pricing everything at UK prices. And once you realise that, everything changes. So I want to be upfront with you about what our finances looked like when we first left the UK, which was nearly 2 years ago now. We had savings, but we didn't have any real income coming in. We worked in the UK, but transferring that work to an online remote work was really difficult. I was teaching English online, but it wasn't bringing in massive money. And we have a rental income, which brought in some money each month. But again, not a huge amount, but we were largely living off what we'd saved. And there was this point where we realised that our savings were going to be gone very, very quickly. And we did start thinking, how long can we do this for? We were spending more than we were bringing in. And it felt like for a little while that this long-term travel just wasn't sustainable for us. But there is a huge difference between Australia and Southeast Asia. And when we were in Southeast Asia, the difference was obvious. We could eat really well for very little money if we ate with local food and in markets and avoided the big tourist traps. And this was really good food. It wasn't, there's nothing wrong with any of it. It was healthy, it was fresh, it was freshly cooked, it was safe to eat, and it was real food too, real local cuisine that we were eating. And yeah, there definitely are some areas in Southeast Asia that cost more than others. Krabi was very expensive compared to some other parts of Southeast Asia. And I know other parts of Thailand can be very pricey as well. And in most places, tourist attractions obviously are going to eat into your savings. So we don't do all of those. We just do the ones that we really are interested in. So Angkor Wat, for example, Vin Wonders in Hoi An was fantastic for Jai. So they're the things that are worth spending the money on, and then we don't spend money on everything. And that's the important thing to realise is it's not about how much money you've got, it's about understanding how much things actually do cost in these countries that you're going to, making intentional choices about how you're spending your money and not trying to live like you're still in the UK. So I worked with a mum recently who thought her leaving figure was around about £30,000, which seemed totally out of reach for her. But when we did the numbers, we realised her real leaving figure was closer to £11,000. And that was something that was achievable for her. And she actually is planning on leaving in about 4 months' time. Here's what happens when most UK families try to work out if they can afford to leave. They take their current monthly outgoings, so their rent, their mortgage, council tax, bills, other expenses, and they try to figure out how to replicate that life abroad. And of course, it looks impossible because you're pricing a UK life in a non-UK country. But that's kind of defeats the whole point of it, doesn't it? Because one of the reasons you want to leave the UK is because of the cost of living here. In the UK, housing alone, whether you're renting or paying a mortgage, takes up, 40 to 50% of your family's monthly income, possibly more. In Southeast Asia, for example, a 2-bedroom villa, possibly with a pool, often in a family-safe area, it's like a secure sort of gated community, can cost a fraction of that. The first thing I want you to stop doing is try to recreate your UK family budget for your world travels, because it's not the same thing. It's not the calculation you want to be doing. The calculation you want to be doing is, what would a good quality life for myself and my family look like and cost in the country that I want to go to? So let me give you some rough monthly ranges for families in the destinations that I have been to or I talk about a lot. So these are going to be relatively comfortable, not backpacker budget, but not high-end stuff, kind of slow travel, long-term travel, within a budget. So Thailand. Now, Thailand can be a little bit more pricey than other countries in Southeast Asia, for sure. A family of 3 can live pretty well for around £2,000 to £2,500 a month. And that depends on where you are in the country, of course, and it depends on the lifestyle that you're leading. Somewhere like Koh Samui, Krabi, the more touristy places obviously can be quite a lot more expensive. But if you go somewhere like Chiang Mai or to somewhere that's less well known as a tourist spot and more an expat place, then you can definitely keep your costs much lower. Bali again is more expensive compared to the rest of Southeast Asia, but again, £2,000 to £2,500 a month is doable. Canggu and Seminac are more expensive. Or you can pop over to Lombok and the prices are lower there. Vietnam is one of the most affordable countries in Asia, for sure. And it's a very family-friendly destination. And it's possible to live comfortably there for, £1,500 a month. Places like Hoi An have a huge world schooling and expat community. And obviously the cities have to, if you go to Ho Chi Minh or Hanoi. But yeah, Vietnam is a really family-friendly place and good value. Goa in India is another cheapie. You can probably live on sort of £1,500 a month here quite easily. Again, it depends what you do and how much time you spend eating out and living the tourist lifestyle as opposed to the more expat, slow travel lifestyle. And often it depends on the area as well and the season. So high season in any of these places is going to cost you more than low season. But there's a reason why they're high and low season. You might get monsoons in Goa, for example, or heavy rain in Thailand, or might get very, very hot as well. So there are low season is low for a reason, but the prices will always come down. But you compare any of that to a UK family living in the UK, you're looking at £3,000 to £3,500 a month just for basic living, really. So that gap is your leaving fund. That's what makes this possible. So if you genuinely think you can't afford this, I want you to do one thing after you watch this video. I want you to work out what you actually spend in the UK every month. The real figures, go on your bank statement and have a look what you actually spend on everything each month. And then have a think about the ranges that I gave you, £1,500 to £2,500 a month, and just see what the gap is between what you spend now and what you potentially could be spending in these other countries. Bearing in mind they were for a family of 3 to 4. And if you're someone who has quite a lot of savings, but you're not sure if it's going to be enough, you probably do need a lot less than you think you do. But again, what you need is a clear picture of your real number. So your personal leaving fund target based on your real outgoings, your real family, and the destination you'll be going to. And if you're just thinking this is all just far too overwhelming, all this financial stuff, I cannot get my head around it, it's just never going to be possible for me, that's okay. And that's the exact reason why I created what I'm going to tell you about in a minute, because that overwhelm is something that you absolutely can manage and find clarity with, because you don't need more money, you need a clearer picture. So I put together something called the Leaving Fund. It's a 39-page digital download guide, plus a bundle of tools specifically for UK families who want to leave but feel financially stuck. So this guide covers the real destination costs with actual monthly breakdowns for Thailand, Bali, Vietnam and Goa. It walks you through your personal money snapshot and helps you calculate your own personal leaving fund target. It covers cutting your UK costs before you leave, saving strategies, earning before you actually do leave, and a week-by-week 90-day plan so you know exactly what to do and when. And it comes with a Google Sheets saving tracker, which covers your monthly tracking, your income log, your outgoings audit, and your progress chart. And there's also a 1-page cost of living cheat sheet for all 4 destinations. And there's a quick start checklist, so you know what to do straight away. It's only £39, it's an instant download, and the link is in my bio. So if the finances are what is keeping you stuck, this is where I would start. It's not about having another year of savings with no target or more just vague planning. It's about getting really clear on your numbers, what you need, your plan, and then actually going. Let me know in the comments if this has helped and what is your biggest financial block when it comes to leaving the UK, and I will see you in the next video.